We asked a few industry experts to weigh in on the trends that will impact the supply chain over the next 3 to 5 years. Here's what they had to say.
The ability to scale. So I think for too long, folks have relied on old process to scale up and down. So, COVID taught everybody, hey, I can't just have just-in-time inventory and succeed. I have to have a different strategy. I think scaling up, from my perspective, especially if you go back 5 years, everybody was talking about micro-fulfillment in the States, creating little small micro centers, and it was cost ineffective. So nobody did it. Well, now you're forced to, because now I have to balance inventory, because if this site goes down, I have to send it someplace else. And so I think the smart companies who are growing right will scale right to reach their customers and do it in a way, and I think that's going to be the big trend.
Yeah, I think, near term, it's the economic headwinds, everybody is facing, and I think the challenge is to still make investments in the right areas of the supply chain, continue to improve, automate, take costs out, because I think there's a lot of areas that still have too much cost wrapped up, whether it's manual resources or too many steps in the supply chain process that can be eliminated. So I think companies need to continue to invest in the right areas, in spite of some of the economic headwinds, that not only will help them today, but better position them, 2-3 years down the road.
I think there's a lot of key factors. One is going to be getting through this whole labor issue and finding the solutions that can optimize what's happening inside of the operations, that can deploy automation in a really effective way, that can really help lean away from being really requiring, or lean away from all of the labor content and more towards automation.
The current environment is just going to be extended, that being how to optimize on how labor is utilized in their operations. That's going to be critical. We're seeing that for a long ways into the future. Also, the robotic environment from a technological standpoint is going to get more and more involved in that supply chain environment. So it's here to stay. So that's what's going to be happening over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the labor market as well as part of it. I think obviously we've seen a shift and trying to understand how we can encourage employees and incentivize them to do those high-skilled tasks. And really, it does come all back to automation. So I think the biggest trend we're going to see, though, is there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all solution for the vast majority of vendors. So we're a big proponent of best of breed in what each individual software does and what each individual hardware does. So I think gone are the days of a greenfield solution where one system integrator solution or one robotics vendor will just do the entire warehouse. I think we're in a stage now to where you have a specialization in your WMS, you have a specialization in your AMR, autonomous mobile robot picking, and a specialization in your pick arm and in your goods to person. And how do we integrate those together to be able to provide the best holistic solution?